Yo, what's up Beatbox family? So yeah, a lot of you have been asking me to make a video where I show you how to make a beatbox routine, a tutorial, okay? And a lot of you have also been asking me to break down my GBB wildcard, my process behind, etc. So I thought, why not just combine both of those ideas into one video? So in this video, I'm gonna, break down my GBB wildcard, show you my process, the thoughts I had when I was making each segment of the wildcard, and by doing so also teach you how I personally make routines. Now remember this, all right? Each artist has their own method, their own process when it comes to making their tracks. This is my method, okay? And I just want you to remember that my method, it might work for you, it might not work for you. So please keep that in mind, all right? Just because Stitch says he's doing this doesn't mean you have to do it as well. You can find your own method in making beatbox routines by just experimenting with what you like and what you don't like. But yeah, let's get into the breakdown. Now, before I made this routine, I made a few objectives. What did I want to achieve in this routine, in this wildcard? So I told myself I wanted to really showcase two things: my polyphonic techniques, my different textures and all that, and also the 6-2-6 effect. I really wanted to show like a really high level control of the 6-2-6 effect, and that's what I was going into. That's the whole plan of this routine. That's why you see there was tons of polyphonics and 6-2-6 here and there. But yeah, let's get into it. So we're going to listen to the first part, which is the verse, and also the verse, the lyrics part was actually the first part of the wildcard that I started working on. Yo!
Some days feel like misery. Some days it feels so pointless. Some days feel like it ain't for me. Some days feel like nothing.
Okay, so as I said earlier, the verse, the lyrics part is actually the first part of the wildcard that I started working on. Why? Well, besides being a beatboxer, I'm also a singer-songwriter, so it's very easy for me to, write lyrics. Now that being said, I did not just write a bunch of lyrics and put them together for the sake of having an intro or a verse or whatever. No, I made sure that the lyrics I wrote had a personal connection to me. Because personally, I feel that I can really connect to a track if I can connect to it on a certain level, right? I feel I can bring the best out of it if I had like a really deep emotion and connection with it. So the lyrics some days feel like misery, some days feel so pointless, some days feel like it ain't for me, some days feel like nothing. Those lyrics were about me. But don't worry, I'm not like a depressed dude or whatever. Those lyrics were about me when I was in high school. High school is a very difficult time for me, and I wrote about that. And that's why I could really connect to it. And that's what actually made me invest more in this routine, besides it just being a GBB wildcard. Now, details are very important, alright? Now, listen here. I don't think anybody noticed this detail, but the don't, remember that? There's like a really tiny cool detail about it in the end, alright? But now, when it came into the lyrics, I wanted it to start strong, but at the same time I wanted the whole routine to be like this very chill thing, right? So how do you start off strong but not come in too heavy at the same time? Very simple. You put in a very heavy lip roll and you take out the kick.
Some days feel like misery.
And then just to put a little bit of variation, the second line comes in and I just do the same thing, but I bring back the kick.
Some days it feels so pointless.
Now, when you make a routine, it is important that you have a balance of low notes and high notes. So that's what I did over here. In the first two lines of the lyrics, basically I just did a very low lip roll, and even the lyrics had a very low note. When it came to the third line, I put in a high-pitched polyphonic in the beginning, and I also changed the notes of the lyrics to be like very high, and I also put in some runs, so it really works with the dynamics. First you have this like really low notes, and then you suddenly go up to higher notes, so it really plays with your emotion a tiny bit. And the third line is very important because when I went high, I also went loud, so it made people pay attention to me.
Some days feel like it ain't for me.
And then in the fourth line, I bring back the bass, but I did not do any bass. I just gave a brief pause after the sh, right? And the pause, the silence, that was the bass.
Some days feel like nothing.
Okay, so now we're getting into the first drop. Now pay attention, alright? I used the first 35, 40 seconds as just singing and with a bunch of percussions in between, alright? I used probably like what, 40% of the wildcard already, and I did not show anything crazy yet. So the next drop that's coming has to be really crazy, okay? And that was the point of the first drop, to be really crazy. Just listen to it once and then I'll explain how I made the drop.
Feels like nothing.
Okay, so this is going to be a little difficult for me to explain, but I'm going to try my best to show you guys what was my thought process when I was making the first drop, alright? Now, we all know what a stank face is, right? Vocoder drops some crazy bass and we're all like, you know, stank face, alright? But there are tons of different stank faces, you could say. Sometimes it's like this, you know, when like somebody drops some crazy bass, a lot of us are like, oh, at least I'm like that, alright? And then like usually when somebody drops some crazy melody, I'm like, you know, so like based on the types of sounds and textures you are using, you can really convey different types of emotions to people. People will have a different impact, right? Depending on what sounds you were using, and that was the point of this drop, all right? So, you know, just listen to it again.
Feels like nothing.
You get what I'm trying to say? So in the first part of the drop, we have the lip roll and the polyphonic kick, right? And that's like, okay, everybody's like, okay, fine, that's nothing. And then out of nowhere, and then people are like, what the heck is that sound? And then immediately after that, feels like nothing. And this is the part, the feels like nothing, that usually when I was making this routine, I thought, okay, at this part people are gonna be like, yo, what the heck? So in that one drop, there was at least two different types of emotions. The first part, people are like, oh my god. And then the second part, feels like, people are like, holy shit. So, you know, you make people feel different kinds of things in just one drop. And that was what I really had to do. I had to really give a lot of different variations, some crazy techniques, because in the first 30 seconds I just showed one type of technique. It was just singing with some percussions, right? So this drop had to be like really impressive, so I had to make people feel a lot of different shit when they hear this drop, you know. So that's the idea behind this drop. That's why I combined those sounds together, not just because I wanted to show off my 626 and poly. No, there was a specific structure of why I did it that way. You get what I'm trying to say? Okay, sorry, I tend to stutter a lot when I'm like talking about something I'm like really excited about, you know? Because I was like really proud of this drop, okay? And like when I saw everybody's reaction, I was like, yes, okay, everybody reacted the way I thought they were gonna react, you know? So, you know, A+ for me. But yes, that was the idea of this drop, to convey different types of emotions, to give different impact, and not just one simple stank face. Everybody was like, and they were like, oh my god. And then immediately, feels like nothing. And then they were like, yo, you know. So like different emotions in just one drop. That was what I was trying to do.
Feels like nothing.
Okay, so over here I brought back my normal voice. Why? Because if you use a sound too much, it becomes very boring. So if I just did 626 and polyphonic throughout the entire drop, it would be boring. So I brought back my normal voice to, you know, balance out the sound and the textures.
Feels like nothing. Feels like nothing.
That's the first drop. Now a common concept is after the first drop, you do a second build up, right? So that was what I did, you know, that was, you know, the second build up. But you know, there was a different purpose to that build up. It was not just a build up for the sake of building up to the second drop. There was actually a purpose of why I did that specific melody. So at the beginning, I said in this routine, I wanted to show off my polyphonic and my 626 effect. So in this part, I really just wanted to chill. Why? Because the first drop was so heavy, everybody was like probably catching their breath. I was like, okay, it was so heavy, right? Okay, let's take a step back and chill. So I did a chill melody, but not just for the sake of it being chill. I really wanted to like flex some of my polyphonic. So I did this instead. I mean, like, come on, don't lie. A lot of you at this moment, a lot of you were like, you guys were not like going crazy, but you were like chill, you were like, but at the same time, you were like, what is that sound? Like, I'm pretty sure most of you were like that, right? And then I bring back the lyrics with the polyphonic again, but a different texture, which was like more rough, a little bit high pitch, so it really like plays with your ears.
Feels like nothing.
So that was the point of this build up. I wanted everybody to chill after that very, oh my god, what is happening to me? Okay, so that was the point of this build up. I really wanted people to chill, because the first drop was so heavy. I wanted people to just chill for a second and relax, so they will have time to appreciate the polyphonic technique that I was showing here, because a lot of people are asking, why don't you put drum beats in another? If I put drum beats in this area, right, people will be more focused on the drum beats, but at this section, I wanted people to really appreciate the polyphonic. That's why I made it chill, and I took my time to really make sure I could produce the best polyphonic, the best texture, so that people could really appreciate the sound, just for like a moment, Just chill, appreciate the sound.
Feels like nothing.
So like that feels like nothing with a different polyphonic, slightly rough and high pitched texture. It really plays with your ears. You know what I'm trying to say? Now, for the second drop, right, I wanted it to be like a really nice impact. So I did the exact opposite of the first drop. So the first drop had a bunch of different techniques that gave you a bunch of different emotions. The last drop for me was this. Okay, I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm just going to flex one sound like crazy. I'm just going to flex the shit out of that sound, right? So it's just going to be one emotion. You're just going to get one stank face, one impact, but it's going to be so crazy. You're just going to be there like, what the fuck? That was the point of the second drop. This to be crazy and this one big punch to your face. And also, it was an upgrade of the polyphonic and 626 together. Okay? But yeah. Okay, now this is the tiny detail. A lot of people did not realize this. A bit sad, but it's okay. It's just a tiny detail, so a lot of people did not notice it, so I understand. Okay, let's listen to this. Okay, the drop was da 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 dun dum 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 da 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 da. Okay, now listen to this. Okay, dum 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 dum. You see, even the melody in the beginning, the don't. There's a specific reason why I put the melody in front there, right? Okay, it's also the melody I ended with. I am so sorry that I'm stuttering a lot in this video. It's just like I said, when I talk about something that I'm excited about, I stutter a lot.
Nothing.
So yeah, that was my wildcard process. All right, I started off with objectives. Like what did I want to show in this wildcard, which was my polyphonic and my 626 effect. I really wanted to showcase these two skills that I had. All right, and then I started off with the lyrics because I felt that if I could connect to the song on a more emotional level, I could bring out the best in it. All right, and then based on the vibe that the lyric gave, like the vibe and the message behind it, then I created the rest of the routines and all that. So that's basically how I made this routine. And surprisingly, this took only 15 minutes. I made this routine in 15 minutes, but it was just like a rough sketch, just like a draft. and then I took the next one day to like really perfect it and all that, you know, put in the tiny details that I mentioned, and then yeah, I spent the next 3 days recording it. So yeah, hopefully this teaches you how to make a routine. This is how I make a routine. I know it's a little unorthodox. I guess I don't see a lot of people having the same mindset as I when I make this routine. Or maybe, you know, because beatboxers don't do this kind of videos a lot, so maybe I'm not the only one. I just don't know yet. You know, but yeah, I hope you all enjoy this. I'm sorry I was stuttering a lot. I was just too excited, alright, because I was talking about my art, okay? But yeah, if you like this kind of videos, please, you know, comment below and I'll do more in the future, alright? Peace out, guys.
I'll see if